Hello crafters, good morning. It is Friday morning. I am firing my kiln up. This is my Glaze fire for my 4th of July event. I'm just double checking everything in here is good to go. Nothing seems to have moved or shifted around. Everything seems to not be touching. I have my cone pack set up on each shelf. I have 3 shelves, 2 half shelves on the bottom, a small mini shelf here from the other kiln here, and then another half shelf up here. And that's all I have. So I'm working with what I have until I can afford to buy more shelves. Probably going to buy a full shelf for the bottom, and then I'll have enough of these half shelves coming up. I may buy 1 or 2 extra half shelves just in case. But everything looks good. So I am going to close everything up, get her plugged in. The only thing I did recently that I'm going to show you real quick is my cone sitter. I am shooting for a, I just noticed this bowl is knocked over. Good thing I saw that. Oh my goodness. Okay, so yeah, let me fix that real quick. Good catch. Oh my goodness, that would have been disastrous. It would have stuck to this little shelf and would have been ruined. Okay, whew, thank you. Thank you for catching that. Oh, all right, cone sitter. Doing a cone 6 in the sitter. This cone 6 isn't going to fire exact in this kiln. I don't know if it's an element thing or a vintage thing, but I know that each shelf fires a little differently. The middle shelf in here could actually be this shelf, but I'm not sure because I know I had a different layout last time. But around this area in the middle was a cone, I think it was a cone 03, where the rest was a cone 04 in my bisque fire. So chances are it's going to be the same with the Glaze, where there's going to be parts in the middle that are going to get to a full cone 6, and the rest might be of cone 5. And based on the cone sitter, I put an 03 in last time. So I'm sticking with a cone 6 because I'm okay with a cone 5, but my goal is cone 6. So that way, if I do overfire, hopefully it won't go beyond cone 6. And luckily, I decided as I'm learning to go ahead and put 4 cones in a cone pack. I have cone, cone 7 here, 6, 5, and 4. So basically, falling this way as they melt, the furthest one to the right is going to be the hottest. So my goal is to not get to cone 7. I want this to be standing up, if anything, barely bent. I would like to have this one not melt at all. That's the goal. So I got to keep real close attention, learning my kiln, and see what happens. Real quick, I'm going to show you this kiln sitter. I'm going with a cone 6, hoping for between a 5 and 6, depending on what shelf everything is. This is the Orton pyrometric small cones that I'm using. And this particular one is the cone 6. And as you can see, it is a little pink cone that when it falls, you'll see wherever it naturally falls, the part that lands down is called the belly. That is the part that you want it to be, kind of thinking like a baby cradling into a cradle position. When it melts, it's going to go like that. And the natural flow in a cone pack or in the cone sitter, you want it to be belly up. So whatever side it falls on, naturally, belly down in that case, you're going to lift that belly up, and that's how you're going to sit it into the kiln sitter. So that's the easiest way it will bend. You can do it the other way, but the chance is that it's going to be harder to bend, and it might actually go hotter than it actually is. It'll take longer. So a more accurate way would be belly up. That's what I've learned from the masters online, and it makes the most logical sense. So that's what I've done. Cone 6, belly up in the little cone sitter. Keeps this thing here, and then I'm gonna snap that cone sitter into place. When that hits the cone and melts and bends, that is going to drop, and that will hopefully automatically turn off my kiln and keep it safe from overfiring, but we shall see. I'm going to go ahead and plug her in. I keep her unplugged for safety. Technically, it's a boy. This one is Leo. And, all right, I'm getting her plugged in, but it's hard to hold the camera. Ugh. My son is calling me in the background. She's plugged in, nice and firm. Just good in there. Okay, now I'm gonna close her up, turn her on low, check her outside perimeter, make sure there's nothing too close. Oh, and by the way, this is too close. I have to shift this over. I'll get right back to you. Whew, okay, I'm back. I had to check on my kid, just getting out of the shower. Whew, take a breather. It is hot and sweaty. So I got her plugged in. I got the lid closed. I've got the wire bent and going around this way, but it's not touching anything to get hot. So it should be good. I don't see anything around the perimeter that's dangerous. It's looking good. Those kiln shelves are okay to be there. I could slide them over, but I don't think it's gonna matter because I'm probably gonna try to either saw these with a tile saw and make them into littler half shelves or whatever, not let them go to waste, but they're free shelves given with the free kiln. They just can't be used because they're cracked, so working on that. And yeah, I got my kiln in there, loading her back in this box here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the kiln on low. So I even had to like etch with a needle tool for my pottery. All right, plugging her in to push the button. Light is on and go low. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just made a boo-boo. Wait, let me turn it back off. I just realized I didn't put the pyrometer in and I didn't make sure that the pyrometer could even go in. So holy moly, I'm so glad I caught that. I don't really trust my pyrometer. However, I still am going to use it just for the sake of keeping temperature track, whether it's right or wrong. Let's see if I can put the pyrometer in. It's going to come in through that bottom hole. It might touch my gnome. So that might be a problem. And in that case, I could probably put a small bowl there instead, if I can manage it, and move the gnome over to here maybe. So let's see what happens. I'll check back in a second and show you what I've done. Okay, I'm back and I got the pyrometer here. He is reading cooler than usual, under 75 today. Her wire is going to here. Got her about 2 pieces out. She went in perfectly without touching the gnome. And she also isn't touching the cones, but she's right above them. She's really close, but not touching. So not the best. I would prefer her not to be so close to those cones, but she isn't touching. So I think she's good. She's kind of out in the open. Hopefully she gets good reading. So that's where we're at. Pyrometer is in. I'm going to try not to move her while she's there or touch her at all throughout this whole process. I don't want to jinx the reading, so I got to be careful not to hit the chair. I should probably shift this. Oh, I'm moving it already. Let's see, did I move it to hit the gnome? Almost did hit the gnome. Yeah, now it's hitting the gnome. So by moving the chair, I messed it up. So let me try this. I'm going to rearrange. The wire is pretty stiff, so when I move it, it shifts the position. So that's better. Okay, let's see where she went. Now she's hitting my gnome. So that's a problem. All right, let me work on rearranging her so she's not so close to my other kiln and I won't bump into the chair to move her. Checking in again, hold on. Whew, I wish it wasn't so hot out here. I am soaked in sweat, it's so gross. And it did turn the fans on, help cool the area, but I went ahead and I relocated to this location on this side of the kiln instead, and it helped push the direction of the pyrometer to go more this way, over here. It's not so much this way, so it won't hit the gnomes. And it's basically right above where my cone pack is. And I reached my hand in on the other side and slid the cone pack closer to the kiln wall so that it's less of a chance to, any chance, touch the pyrometric thermometer, whatever you call that pyrometer, from touching the cone pack. So we should be safe. As long as I don't move it or shift it around throughout the whole firing, it's going to be what it is. I just got a little obstacle course to avoid. I don't have to touch anything. And we should be good. So now I have a good distance away. I have a way to come check the temperature without tripping or moving the wire. And if I do change knobs, I won't be touching the wire either. So hopefully everything will be good to go. So close her back up again. Whoa. All right, now she's ready. Going back to low. We're going to check the time. 10:53. I'm gonna mark down the time, start a scheduling. I'm probably gonna round up. We'll go with, I don't know, 10:50, 10:55 for actual like counting, but yeah. So I'll show you guys the schedule that I'm using, how I'm firing this Glaze kiln. This is a Jenkin kiln. You can see the model is a vintage model from Sarasota, Florida. You look this up online, they don't even have this. This is a B24. So the only thing I'm going to get on this is either calling them directly to talk to them about it, or using a manual if I have one. I'm not sure if I have one. I gotta look. I know I have something here. I'm not sure if it's this kiln. I think I put it under here. It's just an Orton. So this comes with the Orton, but I don't know if this is specifically for my particular model kiln. So I don't know. I might actually call Jenkin if they're still a working number somewhere, and find out if they have a manual for this. I could probably try to find one online on their website, but yeah, I don't even think this is this is just an Orton manual. So I don't have anything on this kiln. I'm just winging it. Don't know anything about it. So she's on low. We're gonna mark down a schedule, and I'll keep you in track with the scheduled time of this firing. And I'll check in on the video to give you updates on how we're doing. Okay, so I have realized while I was creating the schedule that I have to crack the lid open. So I took a little 1-inch stand support and I put that there to crack the lid open. And she's just, the bottom is on low. I'm gonna have her on low for the big Leo, my Leo kiln. It's a little bigger than Athena, which is here, smaller kiln. So I just basically took my schedule I already had for Athena, which was 20, 20, 30, 45, I think, and 60. And I just added 10 minutes extra because it's a larger kiln. I want to give it extra time just by a little bit. So we've got bottom on low for 30 minutes, top on low for 30 minutes, bottom on medium for 40 minutes, and then the top on medium, 55 minutes, bottom on high for 70 minutes. And then I'm going to come and bump up the top on high, full temp, high until we get to cone 6, about 22, 32 degrees on the Fahrenheit scale. I am so confused because when I listen to everybody online, they say 22, 32. And when you look on the cone thing here, self-supporting cones is what everyone's going by, which is cone 6 right here, 22, 32. They're always saying, oh, go by this. I have no idea what 27, 108, and 270 even means. So that's something I still have to learn about. But apparently people say and use these small cones and they still go by this. And I'm just confused because even the professional potters say that and do that, and I've learned from them. But if you look here, there's self-supporting cones, large cones, small. When you go down here, it says 540. I don't know what that means. So that's confusing. Like, I don't know what these things mean. So I have to learn what that means. Probably different things. Obviously, there's different elements inside the cones, right? So if you look here at the cone 6, you've got the 27, which is 2165, the cone 108, which is 2232 for cone 6, and the cone 270 for cone 6 is 2269. Iron free, I'm guessing, would be these readings. And then for this one, we've got large cones, which would be 2228 and 2266. And then I get confused because, okay, well, what does that mean? Does that mean the cone 6 in this size is going to go to this temperature instead of 2232? So, yeah, and not knowing exactly what cone you have, 108 versus 270, determining which you're going to get. And, you know, the self-supporting cone reading these degrees versus these degrees for the non-supporting cones, large. And then the small one basically says it's going to melt at 2291. And that's way higher than 2232. So Lord, help me understand the, the chemistry of how these cones actually work. My goal is to figure that all out. I do know that I'm in a safe zone regardless, using the cone 6 that I have in the cone sitter. I just don't understand how these numbers all translate. Glitching in my phone, but I don't understand the translation between these different degrees and the different cones. And, you know, does that mean I'm not actually getting a cone 6 because I don't ever fire to 2291? I only fire to 2232 or somewhere close to that. And I don't know why my video is glitching. Sorry about that on the end result of my YouTube video, but yeah, that's a mystery for me. So if anybody is a cone expert on the chemistry of how this all works, you know, and using this versus the self-supporting and also the small versus the large non-supporting cones, like, it's just a mystery to me, but I'm just going with the flow. All right, guys, I'll check in later.